You?
No, I didn't know. So after the fight had happened, we in the locker room. I think I had just finished changing up. We on the way to the post presser or whatever. My father said, "You know, he tried to bite you in there." I said, "What?" I'm like, "It's no like if you in the ring with somebody, so you're gonna notice that."
But wow, my eyes was burning, and you know, like you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee than But I didn't really know that you can like get disqualified for all that. Or like when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know.
After their first physical encounter, before to their rematch, Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis are currently rematching, and gunfire has been heard throughout the meeting. The two met to settle the specifics of their rematch and also conducted a quick press conference where they sat and alternated answering questions.
That's when he tried to bite me. I ain't even noticed that till somebody said something. Somebody said he tried to bite me. I ain't know.
Why not? What you talking about? They like, they ain't gonna give it to you. I was like, oh, is that right? So, that's how boxing works.
That turned out to be a huge risk in the end, as Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach kept shooting at one another. They didn't even get close to fighting, but their trash talk was insane. Lamont Roach continuously emphasized that he was quite different from other people and that Gervonta shouldn't talk too much about beating him because of this. However, Tank insisted that it was a horrible day at work and that Lamont Roach will be completely destroyed in their rematch. Lamont was compelled to wish him the same thing as a result, adding, "I'd break you down in a firefight."
Look, they talking about it.
Oh, whoa, whoa. Course, another comparison I don't want to make to Mike Tyson, but
Nah, that's crazy. That's what he do. He get dirty. He know that.
Since the bout finished, Roach has appeared on the Big Time podcast multiple times to talk about it and maintain his claim that he should have won instead of the fight ending in a majority draw, which has continued to fuel speculation about their probable rematch. Additionally, Roach has been active on social media. Additionally, he published a message on March 18th that appears to have annoyed Tank's support base, which was probably Roach's intention.
Oh, I didn't know. So after the fight had happened, we in the locker room. I think I had just finished changing up. We on the way to the post presser or whatever. My father said, "You know, he tried to bite you in there." I said, "What?" I'm like, it's no like if you in the ring with somebody, so you're gonna notice.
On some actual things, I'm bewildered, guys. Why are some of you upset? Because many people believe I won the fight. What's happening? Did I hurt you guys in any way? In less than 2 days, his post on X had over 21,500 views and 425 comments. Given the interaction of the post and the fact that there are many Davis fans in the comment section, it appears that this is a classic instance of a boxer attempting to get an opponent's fan base to become interested in a bout. Talking on the podcast Come and Talk to Me, Roach revealed how he tried to contact Tank after the bout in response to a wager that was purportedly placed between the competitors prior to the battle.
So Lamont, I watched your feedback. You broke it down round by round. There was this one part in this video that was kind of going viral the other day where you said it looked like Tank was trying to bite you. Yeah. I'm like, what was that? Like, did you notice that in the moment? I saw you said that in your, in your feedback. What was that moment?
I'm going to tell you, man, that I called his phone. I called him and then DM'd him to let him know I called you, but I didn't get a response, so I assumed he had changed his number or something. Give me a call back. Instead of discussing the money, I simply told him, call me back. Gervonta Davis managed to keep his world intact, fighting to a majority draw with Lamont Roach Jr. on Saturday night. He won the Boxing Association lightweight title by the slimmest of margins. The unbeaten 30-year-old southpaw known as Tank was able to finally exhale with relief when the final scores were revealed after a closely contested 12-round bout full of two-way action. Despite a highly contentious moment in the 9th round that should have handed Davis his first career loss.
Judge at the ringside, Eric Marlinski scores it on 115 to 113 in favor of Gervonta Davis. Judges Steve Weisfeld and Glenn Feldman both scored about 114 to 114, even a draw. The decision is a majority draw.
while 2 ringside judges tied the battle at 114 to 114. One gave Davis a score of 115 to 113, guaranteeing the Baltimore 3-weight champion would go undefeated. The pivotal moment occurred in the 9th when Davis willingly knelt down by his corner and then leaned over the ropes, ostensibly seeking help to clear an eye problem. In accordance with the common boxing rules, a fighter, referee Steve Willis, gave Davis a severe warning before allowing him to continue. Touching the canvas with anything other than their feet is deemed knockdown, which would have cost Davis a point, if not an outright disqualification, for the corner's intervention in the middle of a round. A decision that most likely changed the result when Davis later claimed that grease from his hair had damaged his vision. The 19,250-strong Barclays Center crowd expressed their emotions. "It should have been a knockdown," Roach remarked.
I had to bite you, like, cause we right there. But when I actually went back and looked at the fight, I was like, this motherfucker really did try to bite me. Like, at least that's what it looked like. You can ask him, or you can, if you play the clip and you look at it, it definitely looked like he just tried to bite me and missed or some shit. Like, bit his.
He claims that grease got in his eye, but if he takes a knee and the referee begins counting, it should be a knockdown. If it had been a knockdown, I would have won the fight. I'm not counting on that knockdown to win because of the current situation. I simply believed I had pulled it out. Given special permission to fight Davis at 135 pounds while maintaining his WBA belt at 130 pounds. Roach narrowly lost to an opponent who started as a clear 1-20 favorite in his attempt to win a world title in a second weight class. A knee is taken by Gervonta Davis in the middle of the round. 9 during the altercation with Lamont Roach Jr. on Saturday. I believe I gave it my all in the final 3 rounds. Davis claimed that I was hitting him with some clean blows and that I felt like I was taking him out as the rounds progressed, but he kept coming, so I was cautious and didn't want to make any mistakes.
Then I don't know. But that was crazy. So when he told me that, I was like, nah, he ain't try to bite me out, tripping. But when I looked at it, I was like, damn, they tried. And then even
try to bite you where? Pause.
On his neck.
Like
you seen
my
it?
neck,
Yeah.
like ear.
I didn't notice. I seen him hit you with a shoulder one time.
He tried to put his glove up. He tried.
From the bell that opens throughout the first several rounds, Roach remained calm and used his movement and counterpunch to prevent his opponent from getting into a routine. He showed no fear of the widely favored champion. The opening few rounds were spent probing by Davis, a notoriously slow starter, although his typical patience verged on lethargy. Roach capitalized by winning the majority of the early exchanges and hitting deft right hands. Even when Davis started to increase the pressure in the latter rounds, Roach seemed more composed and at ease due to their acquaintance with one another as former amateur competitors. In the 6th, the champion's awakening was heralded with a concussive right hand. However, Roach handled it effectively and refused to back down. He forced the champion to tie up after shocking Davis with a straight right in the 7th. With unwavering confidence, the challenger started setting the pace and combining more blows, transforming what many had anticipated to be a one-sided bout into a tooth-and-nail battle.
Up and you see his face
Yeah,
up.
like,
Oh, niggas wild.
nah, it was crazy.
Oh, niggas.
It was crazy.
Did you see that, Naj, too? You seen that?
Yeah, I didn't see it in the moment, but when I looked at the replay, I'm like, damn, this vampire in Brooklyn right now. It's a little
Yeah.
suspect.
I think the commentator said something about
Yeah,
that.
they said something about it too. Like, they was like, here's another comparison that Mike Tyson, like,
Roach demonstrated his ability to withstand the champion's finest shots and strike back in the 8th round when he delivered a huge counter-right uppercut that momentarily dazed Davis. Then, on the 9th, debate erupted. Davis took a knee after taking in Roach's left hand, which didn't appear to land with full impact. It was a moment that ought to have been declared knockdown, whether it was due to exhaustion, a misplaced mouthpiece, or something else. Willis, the 3rd man, gave Davis a chance to get better by merely issuing a warning. Driven by annoyance, Roach absorbed Davis's bombs and continued to go forward after he came out swinging. By the finals rounds, Roach skillfully neutralized Davis's lunging, reckless strokes. With a sharp counter-right in the 11th, Roach outworked a very irritated Davis to seal the round. Davis, who is renowned for his heroics in late fights, attempted to trick Roach again with 3 minutes remaining, but Roach refused to back down and kept to his strategy, causing Davis to miss and landed just enough to maintain control.
Say, that's how boxing works. I'm not like totally upset. I figured with a superstar, you won't get too much on paper. But shit, I damn sure thought I damn sure thought I had it. Especially when they announced the score for him. I was like, oh, they gonna give me a...
In the immediate aftermath, both men demanded a rematch. Roach said, I definitely want to run it back, and he made 112 of 400 shots, 28%. Based on CompuBox's punch statistics, Davis scored 36.9%, whereas 103 of 279. I'll return to my rightful place on the vast stage. For sure, Lamont is a great fighter. He's got the skills, he's got punching power, Davis said, adding that it was his own poor performance, not anything Roach brought to the table, that made the bout tight. To be honest, I really made it competitive. It was a lesson learned. A special thanks to Lamont Roach and his entire staff. We're hoping to run it back.
As I heard that 114, I was just like, damn, all right, it's over with. So, yeah, man, it's just crazy. I ain't gonna lie. It's okay. We gonna run it back. It's okay.
Following the events of their initial meeting, a rematch between Davis and Roach appears likely to occur, with an official announcement anticipated in the upcoming weeks. According to reports, the fight is scheduled for either May or June. According to a decision acquired by ESPN on Friday, the New York State Athletic Commission affirmed the Gervonta Davis-Lamont Roach outcome, which came to a majority draw during a contentious ninth round. The commission's decision said that Roach's objection was rejected since the fight went on for over 3 complete rounds following the referee's no knockdown call, and because the fighters had to adapt to the referee's decision, making the call not a decisive factor in the outcome.
The part with the grease in the eye, that took on a life of its own, you know what I'm saying? That was a headline in the fight. One is, what did you think when he said that initially, just like the grease in the eye? But two is like, when you was in the fight, was there any point that you saw that? Like, did you see like him kind of messing with his eye, or did you have any indication that that was something that was bothering him?
No, see, and that's the thing. If you look at the whole fight, he was never bothering his eyes before
you jabbed him.
Before I jabbed him. Even that.
One of boxing's biggest names, Davis, was knocked down in round 9 following a barrage of Roach punches. Referee Steve Willis began counting, but he stopped when he got to 3 and did not declare a knockdown. According to the commission's decision, the referee should have decided that Mr. Davis's knee hitting the canvas constituted a knockdown after a thorough after-act analysis of the 9th round's recorded film. Nonetheless, the referee had the option and power to decide whether a knockdown had taken place in that particular situation. Additionally, the ruling noted that it would be impossible to determine whether the final 3 rounds would have remained the same if a knockdown had been called.
So,
but you say you don't think he willing though.
Whatever. See, but who cares? Like, sweat gonna get in your eye, blood gonna get in your eye.
Such speculation would be out of place, and the commission does not believe that creating such a precedent would ensure a right result going forward or be in boxing's best interests. According to the ruling, Roach would have prevailed by decision if Willis had called a knockdown. The WBA junior lightweight champion instead agreed to a draw. Davis was a minus 20,000 favorite according to ESPN, bet when he tried to become a 2-weight champion in what would have been a stunning upset. Lamont and his team are still disappointed by the results and the commission's inaction, but they are thankful for the boxing public's support. Gregory M. Smith, Roach's lawyer, told ESPN, Lamont is certain that a rematch will result in a triumph. However, at 135 pounds, he is currently the people's champion.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not like you can be like, all right, time out, ref. Hold on, ref. You can't do that.
Right. Would you be cool with Steve Willis doing the next fight?
Hell no.
He can't do the next fight.
No, he can't do the next fight.
Right.
After the fight, Davis of Baltimore stated that he took a knee because his eyes were burned by grease from a hair treatment he had done on Thursday. Additionally, Davis was permitted to use a towel at his corner to wipe his eyes, even though this is not permitted throughout the round. The referee alone is able to stop the activity. Davis's in-ring IQ is highly underestimated. He has been observed downloading data against other opponents in the early rounds. However, he appeared to have trouble finding his rhythm when playing against Roach. Following the battle, Roach had an abundance of followers. Shakur Stevenson, Roach's friend and Davis's opponent, gave Roach high marks for his performance and even volunteered to fight him next. Even though the fight makes sense, I would rather see Davis rematch Roach because that is the contest that fans are most interested in seeing, especially after Roach left us wondering if Davis was really invincible.
I know something funny. When we was talking in like the 12th round, I think the 12th or 11th, we was talking shit, right? But he like, you ain't gonna win.
In their contentious majority draw inside Barclays Center, Roach, Davis's old amateur opponent, deserved to be the main story after giving Tank a minus 1,600 betting favorite, the first setback of his professional career. The commission stated that although it requested a video replay on Monday, a technical problem prohibited it from happening within the permitted time. At 130 pounds, the 29-year-old Roach of Washington, D.C., is still the WBA champion. At lightweight, Roach is ranked number 6 by ESPN. Davis 30 is the top lightweight and 8th-ranked boxer on ESPN in terms of weight. The boxing world has taken notice of the eagerly awaited rematch between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach. Additionally, Ryan Garcia, who has direct knowledge of Davis, offered his thoughts on the result. Garcia, who lost to Davis via TKO in the 7th round of their April 2023 bout, is closely monitoring both boxers' progress.
And shit or nothing like that. But like, he wiped his face with a towel. You can't do that.
Right.
You can't do none of that.
Right.
That's a disqualification. You turned your back on the ref after you took a knee. Usually the ref will be like, all right, he don't want to fight no more. Fight.
I don't like knockouts, like punishment, you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes things got to happen to make you get back to where you belong at, you know what I'm saying? And that was a good, skillful ass.
To a split decision win for Lamont Roach. He was robbed. The knee hitting the canvas should be a knockdown. The face getting wiped should be a DQ. They didn't use replay, apparently. And we're going to talk to Keith Eidig about all this, but there is replay in New York. And a fight that was kind of viewed as an afterthought would now be a gigantic rematch and one of the biggest upsets of the past, 10, 15 years, 16-1 is gigantic.
Gervonta Davis and company were expected to have another typical evening at the pugilistic office. Davis didn't seem alarmed or uneasy when his matchup with Lamont Roach was revealed. Roach was a well-known player with a more than acceptable record. Furthermore, although having a title, he was viewed as the smaller man.
Did you get your hair done 2 days before the fight?
Yeah. I ran water over it today, but I must ain't do it enough.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on? And
I didn't want to get caught.
Considered a significant underdog, Roach boxed wonderfully from the outside in the beginning and fought like a man with something to prove. He had no problem when Davis had him give up the jab and fight from within. When the last bell sounded, spectators in Brooklyn's Barclays Center were left speechless. They relished 36 minutes of unadulterated brutality, but they weren't sure who would win. Team Davis sat calmly while the scores were gradually being counted. Ultimately, their guy had to accept a majority decision draw, and the smiles that had been engraved on their cheeks were gradually erased.
This fight, skillful. Both of them didn't want to take certain chances. Some of them take chances, you know what I'm saying? It was like we was on a boat and it was just like this.
Davis left the ring without an official victory for the first time in his professional career. Barry Hunter and the rest of his crew shook their heads in displeasure of the choice as he sank into his chair backstage. There was fierce discussion on the judge's ruling following the hotly disputed first fight between Davis and Roach in March. With the rematch approaching, Ryan Garcia has not held back in making his forecast, which has increased anticipation for the impending match. Lamont Roach and Gervonta "Tank" Davis's first encounter was anything but easy for Davis, as Roach proved to be a formidable foe who pushed Davis in each of the fight's 12 rounds. In the 9th round, Davis voluntarily took a knee, but the referee failed to count it, which was one particularly contentious moment.
In case you don't know, in boxing, you take a knee, that's considered a knockdown. You cannot call time. And you know what you also can't do? You also can't go to your corner mid-round and ask them to wipe your face. Ask them to do anything. You can't get a swig of water. You can't do this. You cannot do that. But that all happened. And so the referee for this fight is a legendary referee. Steve Willis, you have probably seen him in GIFs. He's got...
The judge's choice to award Davis 1 card and Roach 2 cards mirrored the fight satire. Roach was denied the chance to win the title of WBA lightweight champion because the 9th round was not counted as a 10-8 victory in his favor. Now that the rematch is set for this summer, anticipations are extremely high. Ryan Garcia gave his prediction for the rematch in an interview with ES News.
Now you've probably seen it all over social media. Then he stops counting and the fight resumes. That should have been a 10-8 round for Lamont Roach. Or if you scored that a 10-9, then it's a 9-9. Point being, the fight ends in a majority draw. If you look at the scorecards, there they are. You got a 114-114. You got another 114.
The matchup is made more intriguing by Garcia's viewpoint, which is based on his personal encounters with Davis. According to him, Davis underestimated Roach at their first encounter and would be more focused and determined in the rematch. And for now, that's all. To receive the most up-to-date information on news events, happenings, and activities in the boxing industry, follow us on YouTube. Additionally, remember to enable notifications so you may be informed when we release high-quality content like this.